Sometimes people think that lucid dreaming and astral projection is the same. It's not the same. Lucid dreaming is being aware in your dreams that you're dreaming and taking control of it. Astral projection, you don't need to be sleeping for that. It's in trance. You are projecting your consciousness elsewhere and observing.
Whoa.
Some people believe, lots of people believe, that your soul is leaving your body and going elsewhere.
Wow.
As psychic, being able to observe energy, I've never noticed anything like this. And I've run whole retreats for astral projections. There's nothing lifting off and moving. It's part of your consciousness is projecting and
Right.
exploring. You can move to other location. You can also move forward or backwards in time, because concept of time is only applicable to our realm. It's not outside of our world.
Yes. I've come across where something similar, where it's been done to me, whereby my, whatever it is, higher self or subconscious, is able to see things which I can't see physically. So that was kind of like a big eye opener. It's given some kind of like clues or evidence of the fact that there may be remote viewing as well is a possibility.
Astral projection is remote
Is
viewing. It's
remote
the
viewing.
same. Yeah.
Same.
But you see, in military, they try to approach everything in a rigid scientific way.
Yes.
Of course, astral projection would not be acceptable. Remote viewing, kind of, it's just a technique. Yeah,
Right.
And I was just going to say, much of shamanism is related to astral projection. You're very much going into other realms with your consciousness and observing or getting information, messages.
It's true. Well, I wanted to say that in military, they have whole departments. There's a lot of money invested into studying those. They don't believe that it's our souls traveling or something mystical happening. The whole process is pretty rigid. They have forums. They have 2 people involved in the process. They don't even believe that you need to enter trance state, which I am not totally buying, because just having that intention and sitting down and imagining things puts you into trance state. You can't escape that. And then the questionnaire is already created for you. So the second person is needed not to lead you, not to induce trance, but just simply asking questions really quickly. And the person that's been doing remote viewing answering them. They're just collecting data, and somehow it works.
And I guess it's not necessarily going, it might just be accessing.
Yes.
But both are probably
you're just connecting to the informational field in some way.
When you say soul, how would you explain what the soul is?
Soul, I believe it's a part of your creator. There's not one God or not one source of life. There are many different ones. Your soul, that spark, it's a part of whoever created you.
Interesting.
I believe there are many different entities.
So soul is different from, let's say, your subconscious.
It's different.
Okay. And then some people talk about the higher self. Do you know what that is? Is that the soul?
Imagine just one spark, one seed was taken from the God. And now you go through thousands and thousands of incarnations. Through those incarnations, experiences, you start to grow your consciousness.
Right.
So your soul is growing, but also that experience build up your consciousness, what you know, who you are, independently from your creator, who you are.
Okay,
I think that's what it is. And then
kind of like the formless part of you, your essence.
Right.
Connected to this physical self and your higher self as well.
Yeah, and I believe that experiences that we build up through incarnations, we don't lose it. We just forget about it in each incarnation we come in. But there is a part of us that stays outside of it. It's just projected. to experience more, to learn more, to evolve more. And I believe that the ultimate goal is to grow and evolve to the point you can become God.
And the eternal part.
Interesting.
Yeah, so higher self, I would say that's a whole consciousness you've built up through many experiences. But if you come into each incarnation knowing all of it, it's very hard to progress. We should come in as children with complete blank canvas to experience life in full, to learn more.
Interesting.
Zazalia, I have a question for you. What I'm trying to figure out lately is on this supposedly hero's journey, right? How is it that this pattern seems to play out over and over of people having these awakenings or awareness when they have a catalyst? So, you know, a huge problem, you get sick, you get divorced, some big issue happens to bring you into this awareness. I'm seeing more and more people waking up when they have huge problems, like something huge happened.
Because they have no choice, or that or die. You are forced to figure it out. Just like with even not huge crises, but with regular illnesses. First, there is always emotion. You're not happy, for example, in your marriage. It's suffocating. You brush it off. No, this is the right thing. It would be embarrassing to get divorced. No, my husband provides for me. We have a nice house. It would be silly to leave. Or no, I have to stay in marriage for children. That's questionable too, because I divorced for my child because it was the best thing for him. Again, so suppressing the emotion. Then your soul still trying to get the message across. Okay, we're going to create minor discomfort. Maybe that would be enough for you to realize your problem, that you need to do something about it. Now, sleep disturbance, you're irritable all the time. Maybe some chronic pain start to develop. You go to doctor. It's easy to just take pills and face your life, right? Many people choose that route. You take a pill. Then you're faced with bigger problems because the message, you did not receive the message. And soul will keep knocking. And the only way it can communicate through you through emotions, thoughts, or a pain. If you don't understand your emotions, if you suppress your desires, if you start to programming yourself that is not serving you, the only way is pain now. This is where major illnesses come. And if that's not enough, the whole universe start to conspire against you because you're on the wrong path. And then everything is falling apart. What else the higher self can do to teach you a lesson if you don't understand anything? And then, well, you are forced to really look at the things. What is awakening? People say it's a highly spiritual experience. They go take ayahuasca or travel to ashram in India to seek awakening. It's not what it is. It's not coming from outside. It's the act of facing your life, not turning away, not suppressing, not covering it. It's seeing your life for what it is. This is awakening, being aware of what is really happening. And I'm not sure if I answered your question.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's sort of also a programming that the pain, like pain in the body or emotions come to tell you something. If you're not getting the message, then this humongous pain or whatever takes you to these. It makes sense. I'm seeing that because we get messages all the time, but if you continuously not adhere or process it or whatever, then you're stuck, and then something big has to happen. So I guess that makes sense to me.
The higher self, you can correlate it to how parent addresses their child. You speak softly, you explain things lovingly, gently, over and over. This is for your own good. Do this way. This is the right way. You repeat it over and over. And then this brat teenager grows up, go do drugs or steal something. I mean, only so many times you can repeat the same message gently and lovingly. At some point, you're just going to, get frustrated and really hurt and start yelling at your child. Isn't it true? I think this is kind of like higher self addresses, like how many times I have to tell you the same thing. Why
And
don't you get it?
I think as far as shamanism goes, or like one who kind of walks that path, I think they are given a lot of those awakenings and tests so that they can understand and help people. Like, so there's a depth of compassion and awareness that they wouldn't otherwise have, because you really need to understand the problems that people face, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what better way to understand them than to experience them
Exactly.
at some point.
Exactly. Well, that's how people come to healing, become healers, not because they woke up and they knew it's their destiny. No, something really bad happened. They were experiencing things that they couldn't fix in conventional ways. They had to figure it out.
So, how do we pay more attention? I'm going to pay attention and follow through.
This is what we do daily: reflection, meditation, journey, practice that we do of being fully present, paying attention to your thoughts, desires, and to your body, so you don't miss those messages. While we're scanning our body every day, you are withdrawing your focus from outside, from all the distractions, and really paying attention to your emotions, your thoughts, and how your physical body feels. Because by the time we make to our adulthood, we mastered the skill of ignoring our desires, suppressing our emotions, reframing our thoughts to make it fit into the society. The body doesn't lie. You can't pretend that you feel good. If it hurts, it hurts.
And I just want to add that it's also about appreciating the sacredness of everything, right? We came here to connect with the earth and nature, and shamanism is very much about that too. Remembering the sacredness in everything.
Yes, learning to respect the entire world, and you cannot do this unless you learn to respect and honor yourself. Yes, the patterns, this is lessons. It's like exam. Here's a lesson comes, that uncomfortable situation or a crisis or a sickness or a relationship problems or financial problems, whatever. It's a lesson. You're supposed to learn and pass exam. If you didn't, that lesson will reappear in different form, might have a different face. You might be in different town, or if you got really scared first time, you'd be in different country right now. Look at me. Yeah, it will chase you down anyway, and you will be faced with the same thing until you learn it. And if that's not enough, then it's passed through generations. Now all your descendants will be experiencing the same thing. If nobody fixes that, you coming back in next reincarnation 128 years later and experiencing the same thing. Then you go see a psychic, and psychic tells you, it must be your karma. You've done something really, really bad in past life. And if you believe in that, then you think you're a bad person and you're not worthy of anything. You just have to suffer your entire life. So instead of facing that lesson and fixing it, you just accept your fate and suffer.
For me, primarily, it's the more knowledge that I can get to go deeper into understanding. Every time I think I've learned so much, and I think there surely can't be much more, but there is.
Yeah.
There's always something more and more, and it's like, and I may have periods in my life where, I just kind of like you plateau, don't you? Kind of like you think You kind of got to a point, because I am a learner. I am somebody who tries not to stop. I always am trying to learn something, that's my nature, I suppose. But yeah, and sometimes I think, yeah, I've got it now. I understand why people are behaving like this, and things are going on, and families are doing this, and people are doing this, and then next minute, oh my goodness, there's more to it. There's more to it. There's this and that. So it's just never end. I say never ending in the sense of it's almost like the more you know, the more you realize that you don't know. And the thing is, although I don't try to compare myself to other people, but even if I'm moving at snail pace, at least I am moving forward. But then when you look around and you see a lot of people who are into all the mainstream things, distractions, and I can no longer, let's say, for example, watch mainstream TV because it just doesn't feel, I just can't connect with those things anymore. The more of this you go into, the less, to some extent, you can almost can't connect with the things that a lot of people that, where my past version of me 10 years ago, I've totally moved on from it.
And then you pat yourself. You did very good. You're doing good.
But I don't know, because the more I'm doing this, the more I'm ending up almost like you end up actually starting to lose friends as well. Yeah.
That's a sign of maturity. In my tradition, we explain it in a very simple way. Very simple. That even non-spiritual, very scientifically, inclined mind can understand. You know how the programming happens. There is ones and zeros, right? And then you shape to create different things in coding. The same with us. So the soul comes into the world. The goal is develop to grow your consciousness to the whole unit when it becomes one by itself, whole, full unit as God. We come like very minuscule things. We don't know much. We didn't experience much. When we're little, we need lots of friends. We're very communal. We need a group. As a teenagers, you're not going to have that many kids around you. You're going to be a bit smarter. And then a few years later, you realize that no, those people don't belong in your life. And as you mature, there is less and less people. And it shows that your own consciousness grown. And there is a lot less spots to attach to you. So as a group, when we don't have enough consciousness of our own, as a group, we form that one unit. That single
Interesting,
unit.
Yes.
And as you become bigger, there is a lot less space for other people to fill in.
What you lose in one way, you gain in another. Like when you lose friends, there's a lot of vacuum. You're making space for more. So you're just finding whatever matches your soul more organically.
Yes.
Yeah. But you do become more independent. You don't have a need for lots of other people. People say is a shaman spot or a magician in different tradition, or witches. They're mostly lonely people, not because they're bad or people afraid of them. It's just because there is not that much space. They were able to fill it all in. Even in tarot deck, magician's card is number 1. And he juggles everything. Well, he's shown usually on the tarot card as he juggles nature's elements, but whole life is built from nature's elements. So whole life, he's able to juggle all of it on his own. And then from that space, you form very different relationships, not because you need, but because you want. And you're not going to want people that are not on the same level. You want it to be equal. And when you are dependent and, fearful and not very capable, you will accept any sort of relationship. Isn't it true?
Yes.
That's why I say loneliness is a sign of maturity. You're on the right path. You're doing great.